Publix, one of America's major regional supermarket companies, has a basic but memorable logo. The rounded letters give a playful and inviting appearance. The interesting thing about the Publix logo is that it has retained its style and font even after a number of modifications. Publix even filed a lawsuit against a pharmacy store that seemed to duplicate one of the elements of their logo. In this video, we'll explore the history and evolution of the Publix logo, including a general overview of the brand. Let's begin with the evolution of the logo. 1948 brought the launch of the first Publix logo. The original Publix logo consisted of blocky letters positioned at an angle. Publix Supermarkets was written in white lettering and highlighted in black. The motto "More for your money all the time" was printed in standard black letters at the foot of this edifice. The next logo came in 1952 and lasted until 1955. The next Publix logo depicts a building, the typical Publix supermarket of the time. They wrote Publix in an artistic black typeface above and Markets in a more mundane style just beneath. The logo was entirely black and white. In 1955, they enlarged the structure to provide a parking space on the right. The most noticeable change was a circle with Publix printed in large, white letters inside and Markets written in smaller, black lettering directly below. The structure was somewhat altered in 1957, and the round name frame was slightly lifted. Nothing else changed significantly. In the fall of 1930, the first Publix food store opened in Winter Haven, Florida. During the first 40 years of its existence, the company had a logo that looked nothing like the one it has now. However, the history of the brand is hidden behind the logo. Let's take a look at how it has fared over the years and how certain decisions influenced the choice of the logo we see today. If you've ever shopped at a Publix supermarket, you're probably aware that the grocery chain was founded in Winter Haven, Florida. What you may not be aware of is that the Publix headquarters were never located in Winter Haven. George W. Jenkins, the late founder of Publix Supermarkets Incorporated, founded his first Publix food store in Winter Haven in 1930, followed by a second location across town in 1935, and finally, in 1940, he shuttered both of these food stores to open his dream store, Publix Supermarket. The Lakeland Grocery Company was Publix's main supplier of goods at the time. In 1945, the Lakeland Grocery Company was put up for sale, and Mr. George knew this would be the perfect opportunity to expand his business, so he negotiated a deal to buy the company, which included not only the Lakeland Grocery Company's warehouse, but also its 19 small retail stores and all of its employees. In 1950, just 5 years after the big purchase, Publix outgrew the old Lakeland Grocery Company warehouse and looked for property where a larger facility could be built. After purchasing land in West Lakeland near U.S. 92, construction of a new warehouse and office complex began. Construction was completed 1 year later, in February 1951, and the warehouse was ready for business. The 125,000 square foot warehouse was recognized as the most modern facility of its kind in the United States, with the same Art Deco architecture as Publix shops from the 1950s, but what was most stunning was the mechanization of the warehouse operation. Most people would think that any successful company with a warehouse as large and efficient as this one would be set for the next 50 years, but I think we can all agree that Publix is no ordinary successful company. In 1967, Publix added office space to the front of the building, which expanded the entry and lobby, as well as both ends. Publix broke ground on a new corporate office building in Lakeland at the end of 2001, which would provide office space for approximately 1,200 associates. The 325,000 square foot building was completed in 2002, and while most corporate departments relocated to this new facility, several still occupy the original building. But what makes the Publix brand unique? Rather than mimicking popular national companies and imploring you to buy them with a pitiful "me too" approach, Publix created products that consumers would want to have in their kitchen. The first thing I hope you notice about the design is how much attention they paid to the customer. This packaging was obviously made to look nicer as you purchased more of their brand. A cupboard stocked with Publix items is a true delight. It's vibrant, entertaining, and stunning. It's no surprise that their packaging has received numerous design honors. The black and white Publix logo, rather than their trademark green, was the correct decision because it allows them to create a unified and eye-catching design with any color combination. It gives Publix a lot of freedom with photography and the option to choose high contrast color combinations in any setting. The majority of the packaging is white, which helps it stand out on the shelves from brand name competitors, who frequently use solid primary colors for their packaging. Publix has built a brand that people trust across all of its product lines and throughout the whole store. When there is no preferred brand in a category, thousands of buyers would rather buy the Publix brand than an untested brand name. Furthermore, Publix's overall culture positions their generic products to be perceived as trustworthy. In contrast to Walmart's always cheap prices, Publix has always prioritized people before profits. From the baggers who assist you to your car, which are no longer available at any of Publix's competitors, to the fact that it is an employee-owned firm, if you could trust any shop to provide high-quality ingredients, it is these people. People are frequently seen shopping with their favorite Publix reusable shopping bags, even at Walmart. It's almost a status symbol in the town. Meanwhile, one of the most popular stories around the Publix logo was its lawsuit. Publix sued an online store for using a logo that looks confusingly similar to its own. PharmaPax is a company based in New York that sells health, beauty, and wellness products online through its own website and third-party retailers like Amazon. The issue was the single letter P that is used as its logo. According to the lawsuit, PharmaPax's blue P is comparable to the well-established green P that Publix employs extensively across its more than 1,250 locations in Florida and numerous other states. Both Ps are enclosed in a circle. Publix claims to have used the letter P since at least 1972. The lawsuit, which claims trademark infringement, unfair competition, and trademark dilution, said that PharmaPax's logo gave the false appearance that its goods are manufactured, linked with, or sponsored by Publix. PharmaPax's website featured the logo with the words "all your everyday necessities." Publix did a survey of customers and found that almost half of them were likely to confuse the other logo with the Publix logo, even though PharmaPax had its own name and tagline. PharmaPax did not respond to emails seeking comment. According to a Publix spokesperson, the corporation does not comment on pending litigation. The lawsuit describes Publix as the largest and fastest-growing employee-owned firm in the United States, with over 225,000 employees and more than $38 billion in retail sales in 2019. The case, which was filed in the Middle District of Florida in Tampa, asks for an injunction, a trial, and money damages. Let's take a look at some of Publix's main competitors. As of 2022, the primary Publix competitors are Kroger, Whole Foods, Target, Walmart, and Harris Teeter. These supermarkets contain pharmacies as well as a large assortment of groceries, deli goods, and bakery products. Costco, a wholesaler, competes with Publix and discount stores like Save a Lot, although value stores have fewer products and less diversity. Here is a general overview of the top 5 of Publix's competitors. Number 1, Kroger. Publix's major competition is Kroger, which has 3,000 outlets across the United States. Furthermore, Kroger sells many of the same grocery items as Publix, including fresh fruits and vegetables, meat, dairy, deli, and bakery items. In addition, most Kroger shops have generic store brands, a pharmacy, and a fuel center to help consumers save money. Furthermore, with $132.5 billion in revenue in 2020, Kroger is the leading supermarket chain. Number 2, Walmart. Walmart is the biggest retail chain in the world. It has more than 5,000 stores in the U.S. and will make $559 billion in sales in 2020. Walmart also has 10,500 stores around the world where customers can buy a wide range of goods at reasonable prices. However, in terms of goods and pharmacy services, Walmart competes directly with Publix. In addition, Walmart sells electronics, apparel, shoes, yard and garden products, and other items. Number 3, Target. Target is a direct competitor to Publix since it carries a broad variety of grocery items, has a pharmacy in most locations, and has low prices on generic and name brand items. It carries many of the same products that Publix does, such as groceries and pharmacy services, in most stores. Target sells electronics, clothing, and other household products in addition to groceries. Furthermore, Target has 1,792 stores in the United States, which will help it earn $93 billion in revenue in 2020 as it continues to develop its brand in both physical stores and online. Number 4. Harris Teeter's. Harris Teeter is a subsidiary of Kroger that is wholly owned by Kroger. It competes directly with Publix in the grocery store business by offering a wide range of fresh fruits and vegetables. Furthermore, there are 230 outlets in 7 states, and the corporation expects to make $4.5 billion in revenue by 2020. With that amount of money, Harris Teeter can compete with other supermarkets while being in only a few states. Number 5. Whole Foods. Whole Foods is currently a subsidiary of Amazon, yet it still operates over 500 physical stores in the United States. As a result, Whole Foods competes with Publix in the organic food segment. On some things, though, Whole Foods will be more expensive than Publix. Still, Whole Foods has a bigger selection of healthy foods, with more brands and a wider range of foods. Also, because Whole Foods is a part of Amazon, its sales will be $385.06 billion in 2020. Finally, let's go over some interesting facts about Publix. Here are some interesting facts about Publix that you may not have known, even if you live in a state where the grocery store has a strong presence. Fact number 1. At select Publix locations, you can renew your car registration. Florida citizens can now renew their automobile registration in less than 2 minutes using express kiosks located inside some Publix stores. There are now 3 Publix stores with vehicle registration kiosks. They may be found within Publix locations in Plant City, Brandon, and Tampa. Fact number 2. The founder of the store grew up in the supermarket business. According to the State Library and Archives of Florida, Publix founder George W. Jenkins got his start in the grocery business by working for his father's basic shop. He later worked as a store clerk at a Piggly Wiggly in Tampa, Florida, before being promoted to store manager and then manager at the chain's largest location in Winter Haven. In 1930, he opened the first Publix food store. Then, in 1940, he opened the first larger, and more spectacular, Publix supermarket. Fact number 3. The first Publix grocery was subsidized by an orange grove. When Jenkins was ready to expand in 1940, he mortgaged an orange plantation he had acquired during the Great Depression to help pay for Publix's first supermarket. With World War II looming, Jenkins' intentions to continue erecting enormous, cutting-edge stores were put on hold. Instead, he bought a small store chain and then began growing the supermarket network in the 1950s. Fact number 4. Publix is the nation's largest employee-owned supermarket retailer. Jenkins introduced profit sharing and employee ownership when he founded Publix. Employees affectionately referred to him as Mr. George. Publix has evolved from a single store to the largest employee-owned grocery chain in the United States. Fact number 5. The store's name is inspired by a film. In a speech, Publix founder George W. Jenkins stated that the name Publix was inspired by a popular chain of movie theaters in Florida. According to the State Library and Archives of Florida, he stated, "Most of them were closing up, and I liked the sound of the name, so I just appropriated it for my store." And finally, fact number 8, the size of your order will be customized by Publix. Publix employees will cut up goods for you so that you receive exactly what you want, whether it's a smaller piece of meat or fewer pastries in a package. Publix realizes that households come in all shapes and sizes, from large to small, reads a blog post on the company's website. In conclusion, Publix has built quite an amazing highlight reel over the last 90 years. The supermarket has gained a lot of followers over the years, and for good reason. It's difficult to beat these Publix statistics. What more? The Publix logo is as unique as the brand itself, which makes it a go-to for every household.